Ladies and gentlemen, after yesterday's trailer reveal, I can officially announce that No Man's Sky Next has completely blown away all of my expectations. As you might have realized, there's a huge amount of features and upgrades that we're getting with the upcoming update. In fact, I am amazed how much stuff was shown in a 1.5 minute long video. I am sure many of you have watched it multiple times, trying to make sense out of all the goodness Hello Games is throwing it in our direction. Everything in this reveal trailer looks flashy and distracting to the point that you never get a chance to sit back, relax and take all of that in, and then all of a sudden, bam, the trailer just throws something even better at you the very next second. We already know about a lot of the main features that have been confirmed both in the past months and in this reveal trailer, but there are plenty of things that you might have missed. That's why in today's video we'll go over all the details you might have missed in the next trailer reveal for No Man's Sky. So without further ado, let's get started. One of the first things that is hiding in plain sight is what appears to be a health bar and probably a shield bar indicator on the very jetpack that these characters have. This is really easy to miss and apparently it is all legit. You can see the main characters in this trailer having those indicators at various stages throughout the video. It's not immediately noticeable, but there are times in which the display shows health or shield being lower and sometimes being full. Speaking of backpacks and gear, also pay attention to the round device all characters seem to have on their shoulders. Both that and the backpack itself seem to have moving parts and animations associated with them. The little round shoulder device definitely moves independently. I'm not certain if it follows your camera movement. I'm pretty sure that the head tracking is there for that, but it's a nice quality touch to have all of those animated parts on the exosuit. It definitely makes it feel AAA quality, and you can even see the jetpack retracting once you exit water, so you don't have that underwater propulsion anymore when you're outside. It definitely makes sense and it definitely feels like top notch. Moving over with the trailer, while you might get distracted by the beautiful grass and visuals, pay close attention to the multi-tools the characters in the footage use. This can also be seen later in the video and throughout all the ground combat that goes on in all of the scenes, but it seems that the multi-tool models are much smaller than you would have expected. Most of the characters in this trailer seem to have the default skin or the default starter multi-tool, which as we know is quite small compared to other more beefy weapons, but it's quite unexpected for them to be this small. Like legit, they look very small. I'm not sure if there's going to be a size increase. The proportion to the body, well, it doesn't look that bad, but they are definitely way smaller than I would have expected. Another intricate detail that might have eluded a lot of you is the improved spaceship models. Pay close attention to not only the detail on the ship itself, like the material is made out of, the color, the decals, but also the amount of moving parts that they have. Even in the later scenes it can be seen, especially around the engine area, that there's a lot of improvement going on. There's now a lot of moving parts, a lot of technology over there applied to the ship, at least way more to what we currently have in the default game. There's still a lot of moving parts in the default game right now in Alice Rises, but this definitely looks way more improved upon, and it was also apparent in the blog post on the PS4 forum. So yeah, I think that the spaceships are going to have a very huge quality increase. In one of the scenes in which you can see a ship landing on a new freighter, it seems to have a different engine configuration compared to what we currently have in the game. Not necessarily a new model, but definitely an improved procedural model nonetheless. I'm not sure if this type of engine and rockets on the ship is something that we currently find in the game. Maybe they have put in some new models in the game. Tell me if this is true. I definitely didn't see this model yet in the game, and I've been hunting for ships for at least half a year. Speaking of ships landing, at one point after the ship takes off, somewhere in the right side of the screen a landing pad is visible. Upon taking off, you'll see the landing pad having a bunch of ring indicators on top of it. I presume that that is the landing indicator. It's significantly different compared to how it is right now in the game. Right now in Alice Rises, the indicator is actually a square around the landing pad. It is definitely not as visible as it is in this footage. Of course, it looks so much better in the trailer compared to what we have right now in the game. In the same scene, but on the left side of the screen, it seems that a portal is sitting there randomly, possibly alluding to the fact that players might be able to build their own portal terminus at will. It's definitely not something we have right now in the game. Portals are only available in like 3 locations. First, it's on your base. Second, it's in a space station. These are the terminus basically, and then there's the huge portal with the glyphs and whatnot on any planet that you can find. But you can't really build them right now in Atlas Rises, and they all have a set location. Since base building is getting a huge update and a lot of new parts are being added in, it kind of makes sense for a portal terminus to be also added there and to give players the possibility to build them. It might be costly to build such a thing, but it's definitely going to be worth it. I don't think you can input glyphs into this one, but only use it to travel towards what you've already discovered. As the scene moves forward, I like to point out a few details that I have noticed. First of all, look at how low the ship in the trailer is able to fly compared to how it is right now in the game. It is definitely much lower compared to what we're currently able to do in Atlas Rises. Essentially, in this footage, this ship is almost skimming across the water. That's how close it is. At one point, it's even shown to have collisions with the trees, something that definitely is not in the game right now. And since we're still over here, this brings me to the second point, which is the improved water effects. You've already noticed that the water has vastly been improved already in this scene, but when going over the water at low altitudes, your ship actually makes the water somewhat disperse, and you can see those foam trails appearing over it. Of course, it's not the best in the world. It's nowhere near close to, for example, how it is in Sea of Thieves. Like, the water over there is absolutely stunning, but that's a whole different technology. Also, if you check the water in the beginning, you will see that there's slight waves in it, something that I'm pretty sure is missing right now with Atlas Rises, or at least is not as pronounced as it is in the trailers. So a lot of effects added over there. Another cool detail I think ties in very well with the shoulder gadget that we have is the fact that we can see what other players are going to build. So in a specific scene, you will see a hologram of a circular door, similar to how it would look if you wanted to build it. We had the hint towards this ever since the Waking Time ARG revealed the exosuit schematic. Basically, whenever you plan to build a base part, the hologram projector on your shoulder will show everybody else the part that you're trying to build. It will be visible to everybody. It will be like a hologram, and this ties in very well with the fact that colony is now a feature in the game. You can build colonies with others, and if you play with other players, everybody else will be able to see what you're trying to build. Of course, before you even place that structure down, this is of course a very welcomed feature. A cool little detail that I'm not sure is applicable to ships as well is the exocraft color briefly seen when the character exits the portal. If you've ever built any exocraft, you'd know that they come in only one set of colors, a combination of white and orange, but the exocraft in the trailer is green and black, definitely hinting towards exocraft coloring. I'm not sure if this will be possible to ships as well, though it would be awesome. I'm just glad that we're getting vehicle customization, at least to some extent. Weather effects seem to be vastly improved, and at least storms might be vastly more dangerous. In next, you can see a severe sandstorm happening that is definitely more pronounced and higher detailed than what we currently have in Atlas Rises. The visibility is drastically decreased, and it makes navigation much more harder. A very intriguing discovery that is very hard to make out. You can see it in the scene with the roaming sentinel titans. There are 3 bipedal ones, but up until the very last second, a 4th bipedal creature shows up, and it definitely looks organic, or at the very least significantly different compared to the metal one. But it's probably either a creature or maybe some kind of hybrid, maybe even a new type of sentinel. I'm not really sure. It definitely looks strange, and this one is like vastly different from what I've seen so far in the game. There's also a brief scene in which you can see various plutonium crystals as well as what I assume to be titanium. It seems that they also have a very pronounced glow applied to it, like a glow effect surrounding them. It definitely makes them stand out a little bit more, and they definitely look good, so I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far. The flora seems to be receiving a slight upgrade, or at the very least we get some new models. Even in the beginning you can see some new types of trees and some new type of tree bark. At least that's something that I haven't seen before, and I'm pretty sure it's very close to what we saw in the old trailers. There's also this scene with the bent trees that look very strange, and that planet with some kind of pillars that might be part of the flora. I'm not sure, but it definitely looks improved, or at the very least we have some new type of flora being added in the game. It's not much, we already have like good plants and trees and grass in the game, but it definitely got my attention, and I skipped it initially and I didn't notice it, but now that I look at it, it definitely looks different. And last but not least, we have the ability to do joint storyline completion. In this scene, all party members appear to be on an Atlas station, indicating that other players might be able to join on your missions. So if you're doing the main storyline, this scene heavily implies that other players will be able to join on you with that, or you will all be able to do it together, which is awesome. I mean, we already know that multiplayer co-op missions can be done, so it makes perfect sense to also be able to do the main storyline as well. It definitely gets lonely at times, and this is a good addition. So yeah, these are some of the details that you might have skipped or simply didn't notice in the trailer, or at the very least these are the details that I haven't covered in the previous video. If you want to go ahead and check the full version of it, you can go and do it. I'm going to post a link in the description box. But yeah, this is pretty much all the time we have for today. If you've enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you already didn't, and I will see you guys in the next video.